What if the number on your birthday cake is the least important number about you? For decades, living to 150 sounded like science fiction, something reserved for movies and wild speculation. But quietly, without headlines screaming about it, longevity science crossed a line. And now the real question isn't if humans could live much longer, it's who will age well enough to enjoy it. Here's the uncomfortable part most people never hear. Two people the same age can be aging at completely different speeds inside their bodies. One is preserving strength, mobility, balance, and independence. The other is losing function year after year, even while doing everything right. And the difference isn't luck. It's hidden in something called your biological clock, a system that's already measuring how fast you're truly aging. If you've ever wondered why your energy doesn't match your age, why recovery feels slower, or why some people seem to stay strong and sharp while others quietly decline, this matters more than you think. Because this video isn't about chasing youth. It's about understanding what your biology is really saying and how that knowledge can help you age smarter, protect your health span, and hold on to what matters most: independence. Most people grow up believing age is just a number on a birthday cake. You turn 50, 60, 70. End of story. But here's the uncomfortable truth most never hear. Your calendar age tells almost nothing about how well your body is actually aging. Chronological age only measures time lived, not how your cells, organs, and systems are holding up. And when it comes to longevity and health span, time alone is a very poor metric. Biological age, on the other hand, is where things get real. It reflects the true wear and tear inside your body, how resilient your cells are, how efficiently your organs function, how well you recover from stress. Two people can both be 65 on paper, yet one moves with ease, strength, balance, and clarity, while the other struggles with fatigue, stiffness, and declining mobility. Same age, completely different trajectories. This difference shows up in everyday life. One person climbs stairs without thinking twice, carries groceries confidently, and gets up from the floor without panic. The other hesitates, feels unstable, avoids movement, and quietly fears losing independence. That gap isn't luck. It's biology shaped by habits, environment, and decisions repeated over decades. This is why aging well isn't about youth. It's about function, functional fitness, and preserving quality of life. And here's where it gets interesting and a little confronting. Science now has tools that don't just guess how old you are inside, they can measure it. These tools are known as biological clocks. They don't care about your birth certificate. They care about what your cells are signaling right now. And once you understand how these clocks work, you start to see aging not as a fixed destiny, but as a process that can be influenced, slowed, and potentially redirected. Which leads directly to the next question. What exactly are these clocks measuring, and how do they know so much about you? To understand biological clocks, you have to let go of an old belief that your DNA is your destiny. Your genes matter, yes, but they're more like the hardware of a computer. What truly shapes how you age is the software running on top of them. That software is called epigenetics. It decides which genes are turned on, which are muted, and how your body responds to stress, movement, nutrition, and recovery over time. Think of epigenetics as a massive control panel. Every habit you repeat, how you eat, how you sleep, how often you move, how you manage stress, sends signals to that panel. Over the years, those signals leave chemical marks on your DNA, especially through a process called DNA methylation. These patterns don't change the genes themselves, but they change how loudly or quietly those genes speak. And remarkably, those patterns follow time so consistently that they form a molecular clock. This is where epigenetic clocks come in. They don't guess your age based on wrinkles or strength tests. They read those molecular patterns directly. One of the most well-known examples was developed by geneticist Steve Horvath, who showed that DNA methylation patterns could estimate biological age with surprising accuracy, and even predict disease risk and mortality better than chronological age. In plain terms, your cells keep receipts, and they don't lie. What makes this both exciting and unsettling is what these clocks reveal. People with a lower biological age tend to maintain better mobility, balance, and functional fitness as they grow older. They recover faster, preserve strength after 50, and protect independence longer. which raises an obvious question.
Here we go.
If biology can measure aging this precisely, could it also show us how to slow it down, or even push it backward? That possibility is exactly where the science of longevity starts to move from observation to intervention. Once scientists learned how to read biological clocks, a far more provocative question emerged. What if we could reset them? The goal of modern longevity research isn't just observation anymore. It's intervention. If aging follows biological instructions, then in theory, those instructions can be adjusted. This is where the conversation shifts from tracking decline to actively extending health span. Researchers have already shown in animal models that it's possible to reverse biological age at the cellular level. Cells that looked old began behaving young again. Tissues repaired faster. Organs functioned more efficiently. In some cases, lifespan itself was extended. This isn't science fiction. It's peer-reviewed work. And it suggests aging may not be a one-way street, but a process that can be slowed, paused, or partially rewound. Scientists like David Sinclair argue that aging is driven less by genetic damage and more by a loss of cellular information. In simple terms, your cells forget how to function optimally. Restore that information, and you restore function. That's why reprogramming epigenetic patterns is so powerful. It targets the root, not just the symptoms. Imagine what that could mean for strength after 50, mobility, balance, and long-term independence. Now, here's the part most people miss. Living to 120 or even 150 isn't meaningful if those extra years are fragile, dependent, or painful. Longevity only matters if it protects quality of life. That's why this research isn't about adding years at any cost. It's about extending functional fitness and preserving independence. And to do that at scale, science needs tools powerful enough to safely influence biology itself. Which brings us to the technologies quietly accelerating this entire revolution. This revolution didn't happen because someone had a good idea. It happened because technology finally caught up with biology. Tools that once belonged to science fiction are now sitting inside real laboratories, quietly accelerating what we know about longevity and health span. For the first time, scientists can read biological aging in detail and, more importantly, explore how to influence it. Next-generation DNA sequencing allows researchers to analyze massive amounts of genetic and epigenetic data quickly and affordably. What used to take years now takes days. This means patterns linked to healthy aging, resilience, and disease risk can be identified earlier and more accurately. It's like switching from a blurry black and white photo to high-definition imaging of how your body actually ages over time. Then there's CRISPR, a genetic editing tool that allows scientists to precisely modify DNA. While still largely experimental in the context of longevity, it opens doors to correcting harmful mutations and optimizing cellular function. Paired with cellular reprogramming techniques, researchers can partially reset cells without erasing their identity, encouraging them to behave younger while staying functional. That distinction matters more than headlines usually admit. What's critical to understand here is this. These technologies aren't about creating superhumans. They're about preserving mobility, balance, functional fitness, and independence for longer. Done responsibly, they aim to support healthy aging, not replace lifestyle fundamentals. And that raises an important reality check. Powerful tools always come with responsibility, limits, and consequences. Which leads us straight into the ethical and societal questions most people avoid, but can't afford to ignore. Every powerful breakthrough forces an uncomfortable pause. Just because we can influence biological aging doesn't automatically mean we should, at least not without serious guardrails. The first and most obvious challenge is safety. When you're dealing with systems as complex as cellular aging, small mistakes can have big consequences. Longevity science moves fast, but biology always demands patience. Then there's the question no one likes to ask out loud. Access. Advanced longevity technologies won't arrive evenly distributed. At least not at first. If only a small group can afford biological age testing, interventions, or therapies, we risk creating a world where healthy aging becomes a privilege rather than a shared goal. And that's not just a scientific problem, it's a societal one. There's also the long-term impact to consider. What happens when people live significantly longer, but systems around them don't adapt? Retirement, Healthcare, family structures, work, purpose, all of it changes. Longevity without planning could create strain instead of opportunity. This is why thoughtful voices in evidence-based health keep repeating the same message. Extending life only makes sense if we extend function, contribution, and independence along with it. And here's the quiet insight most headlines miss. Even if tomorrow's therapies work perfectly, they won't replace daily decisions. Technology may influence biology,
Beautiful day.
but habits
Time for
still
a
shape
walk.
outcomes. Which brings the conversation back
fresh
to you,
air.
not the lab. Because while the future is being built carefully and slowly, there are actions available right now that already influence your biological clock more than you might realize. Here's the part most people underestimate. While futuristic longevity therapies are still being tested in labs, your biological clock is responding to your daily choices right now. Every meal, every night of sleep, every walk, every stressful thought, it all leaves a mark. The science is clear. Lifestyle habits can measurably influence biological age, health span, and how well you age over time. Nutrition is a powerful starting point. Diets rich in vegetables, colorful fruits, healthy fats, and adequate protein consistently support healthy aging. Think simple and sustainable. Leafy greens, olive oil, berries, fatty fish, beans. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Reducing ultra-processed foods lowers inflammation, which directly affects cellular aging. Small changes, repeated daily, compound faster than most people expect. Movement is non-negotiable, but smart movement matters more than intensity. Strength after 50 protects muscle, bone density, balance, and independence. Walking daily, resistance training 2 to 3 times per week, and basic mobility work for hips, spine, and shoulders go a long way. Functional fitness isn't about gym numbers. It's about getting up from the floor, carrying groceries, and trusting your body again. Now here's something worth pausing on. Many people feel overwhelmed trying to piece all this together. What to prioritize, what to ignore, what actually works. That confusion is exactly why structured, evidence-based guidance matters. Resources like the Longevity Protocol, your comprehensive guide to a longer, healthier life, exist to remove guesswork and help people focus on what truly moves the needle, without hype, shortcuts, or risky trends. Sleep and stress management quietly amplify everything else. Quality sleep allows cellular repair. Chronic stress accelerates biological aging. Simple habits help. Consistent bedtimes, morning light exposure, breathing practices, and real social connection. These aren't soft strategies. They're biology. And when combined, they form the foundation of longevity, functional independence, and quality of life, the kind that actually lasts. Here's the real takeaway most people miss. The future of longevity isn't waiting in a lab. It's already interacting with your daily life. Biological clocks are showing us that living longer is possible. Yes, but living better is the real goal. Longevity without strength, mobility, balance, and independence isn't success. Healthspan is. And the choices you make today are already shaping how many good years you'll have ahead. So ask yourself, are your habits helping you age well or quietly speeding things up? Are you building strength after 50, protecting mobility, and investing in functional fitness? Or are you hoping time will be kind on its own? Because aging well isn't passive. It's an active, evidence-based process. And the people who win are the ones who understand their biology and act on it. If this changed how you think about aging, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. This channel exists to help you age smarter, stay stronger, and protect your quality of life without hype or shortcuts. And before you go, don't miss the video on your screen now. I discovered how scientists are turning back the biological clock. Human tests are starting now. This video shows how those biological clocks are being influenced at the cutting edge and why understanding both science and lifestyle is the real advantage. Because remember, your goal isn't youth, it's independence.